although everyone's hair is on fire in Pittsburgh, I don't think the first four games are something we should necessarily be crazy about. It's what they have coming up. Their next schedule, they play the Ravens, the Rams, the Jags, the Titans. You got four teams that are playing really good football right now, and the question is the next four. How many of those next four games do they win? And after that, they got the Packers, Browns, and Bengals. And when you talk about heading into midseason, you want some momentum. You want some momentum going ahead into the midseason. They have no momentum. I really think the team is missing Deontay Johnson. I don't know why people really thought Kenny Pickens was going to be a number one receiver. If you watched him at Georgia, he was marginal. He didn't put up any crazy big stats. He wasn't a guy that was a possession receiver. He found ways consistently to get open. There's separation. You didn't see that. He didn't know how to typically set guys up. He made big catches, but most of the guys who thought Pickens was going to be this dominant player this year are fantasy people, right? You play fantasy, pick, pick it to pick, and then what happens to you, right? So George Pickens just I thought that, and throughout the whole season he was just pretty basic. The seven targets, 3 receptions. The leading receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers was Najee Harris. They tried to feed him the ball. He's a workhorse. He had 14 carries, 71 on the ground, averaging 5 a pop. Kenny Pickett, he struggled all this year, but I would say that when you don't have your top guy, which you paid, and the next couple of years, nursing a hamstring injury. Well, what are you going to do? But yeah, they just looked awful. The running backs pretty much were the go to. Um, I don't know what to say for the Steelers next. I mean, is Mitch your guy? What do you do? Kenny Pickett's out. He has a knee injury. You've seen Mitch? You know what Mitch can do. I mean, if you look at your roster, right, you got the Ravens, and you got the Ravens in 7 days. And if you look at your roster right now, at quarterback, I mean, best bet may trade for Tyrod Taylor or something, but um, you look at let me see your backup quarterback is like your depth chart. I mean, you go to Rudolph, and do you go to the thing is this: you're not getting to the playoffs with Rudolph or Trubisky. You're just not doing that. You're not getting to the playoffs with Mitch Trubisky or Mason Rudolph. You seen what they can do, and you don't want Southern Nation to go through something if Kenny Pickett's out for a long time. Um, do I think that Kenny Pickett is the guy? I think that he has better upside than those two guys. I don't think he's the best option that's out there, but I think he has more upside to these two guys. You really can't get mad at Matt Canada because the offense doesn't have the number one guy. Um, they said they're hopeful that Kenny Pickett has a minor MCL sprain. Um, he was able to walk for a little bit, which is fine. But he wasn't doing anything before he left either. So it's not like you're getting a complete upgrade. But you're missing your main guy Deontay Johnson, who created a lot of opportunities for everybody. On the other side, I mean, C.J. Stroud playing some good football. If you know me, I'm hard on Ohio State quarterbacks, but he was 16 for 30 today, 306, 2 touchdowns, 111 quarterback rating, and I say this from this standpoint. He did a really he did a really good. D'Amico Ryans did a really good job of allowing of making the game easy for him. Um, and that's what you want for him. But you got Nico Collins making big. Nico Collins. This Big Ten. Big Ten. Thing. Big Ohio State to Michigan. 7 receptions, 168, 2 touchdowns. You don't see that often. Tank Dale was pretty much non-existent in this game, but Dalton Schultz, he played well. Robert Woods was mustering in, so you have a good receiving core. But Aaron Glenn, what he's doing with that defense is just amazing. I mean, even though they lost the Colts, they lost the Ravens. The past 2 games, I thought the defense played well. I thought they played well against the Ravens as well too. But that defense. I'm sorry. I'm not Aaron Glenn. D'Amico Ryans. What he's doing with that defense is just solid. If you look at the defense, you pretty much have the nucleus of that defense is Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o, two guys that played at Alabama, played at Alabama together. Um, and then you got Steven Nelson, Jimmy Ward, some veteran defense, Shaquille Griffin, some veteran defensive backs, and out there flying around. I tell you guys, Steven Nelson is one of the top defensive backs in this league. And if you haven't watched him or pay attention to him, then you're missing out on a guy who plays good, sound, disciplined football. He's athletic, and for him being this long, being a vet in the career, you know, being a vet in this league, they're really missing. You're really missing out on a guy who knows the game and can kind of pioneer a secondary, especially adding Jimmy Ward to this. But you have a really good defense, and not only that, you have Will Anderson. You have three. You have three. Uh, um, uh, 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 Bama guys just pioneering that defense, and then Dylan Petrie. How can we forget him? You have a smart, sound secondary that I think we look at this 30-6 game, and it sucks because when we see the Steelers lose, they get blown out. They get really blown out. It's not like they're like losing by like in close games. They're getting really blown out, and it doesn't look good. So, but Houston, I think Houston can continue the momentum. Their schedule they have coming up next, they got the Falcons, the Saints, Panthers, and Buccaneers, all winnable games. One of the lighter schedules that we see in the league. So, you know, uh, uh, if CJ Stroud can continue this, and they build pretty much they allow him to drop back and pass the ball like he did at Ohio State. The defense continues to play sound. I think that we're going to start thinking about Houston differently, as well as how Ohio State quarterbacks.